this morning to start the month off. That's right, 3.0. Your Mr. Lewis said she's going to be with us. I'd like to give a shout out to her handsome debonair husband, Mr. Hussein Ismail, who's listening in. He's at probably one of the stations that they own because they flip them. And I tell you what, he always likes to be on when his wife's on. What a great man. Hey, folks, this lady hails in Fresno, California. She's got two little furball babies right now. Just keep her in prayer because I know she's had a migraine for the last couple of days. And she said, I'm going to pull through it, Mr. Thomas. The show got to go on. See, that's a true sign of a champion. No matter what, they keep on going no matter what. Am I right, Miss Baker? Thank you so much. So with that said, once and for all, Miss Natasha Ismail 3.0. We could not do without her. She has got a couple degrees, decided after they closed down, looked around and saw ACN, got started. Her and her husband never looked back. They have great plans and big plans in store for their organization in the ACN family. So without further ado, 3.0, the great Miss Natasha Ismail.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. How are you?
Good morning, dear.
I love your shirt. I love it.
I love your shirt.
I love it. Thank you. We're matching. See, great minds think alike. You, me, Mr. Lewis, all of us planned this, don't we? But thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for having me on this morning. Happy Monday, everyone. We are back. I know y'all missed me, so you guys don't have to tell me you missed me. I know you did. And for those of you that have been checking on me, thank you guys so much. You know, I've had migraines, just like Mr. Thomas said, and plus allergies. It has not been pretty, but we're here and we're still going to do this anyway because the show must go on. So before I get started, I want to thank Mr. Thomas for giving me the opportunity to come back and speak to everyone. And, you know, there's a lot that we can say about Mr. Thomas, but one thing that we need to know is this is a man that did it. This is a man that went out. He made it happen no matter what anybody said, no matter, you know, what his family thought, his friends thought. He went out and did it. So if we're looking for an example, we have a living, breathing example right here that's known around the world. He's in magazines. He's been on TV, like he's done it all. Okay, so before that, I just want to give it back to Mr. Thomas. We love you and we thank you for everything, for being such an amazing leader and being the example that we need. So I have a question for everyone before I get started. You guys know I love questions, so you guys got to get ready to type it in the chat. My question is, what is the thief of joy? What is the thief of joy? What is one thing that we do so much that takes away people's joy? And we do it to ourselves. Fear, worry, keep going. Keep going. Compare, Mr. Edmund Smith. Why did I know you were going to get this right? Comparison. So if you're taking notes, which you should be today, write down comparison is the thief of all joy. Now I'm going to give you the definition of comparison. Comparison is consideration or estimation of similarities between two things or people. Comparison is consideration or estimation of similarities between two things or people. Now, how many of us walk around our block? I know Mr. Thomas walks around the block a lot, like 3, 5, 10 times a day, okay? How many of us have ever walked around our block? Okay, perfect. Now, question is, how many of you have looked around at people's yards lately, especially because it's spring and everything is blooming? It looks so beautiful. We're in summer here now. So, okay, cool. Have you noticed people's grass? I never knew that there were so many different types of grass. I don't know if anybody else felt that way. I saw like the dark green grass, there was thin grass, there was thick grass, and some people's lawn looked so perfect because the grass was fake. Some people's flowers look so perfect. There's a house down where we live, and we've been walking, and I noticed this lady's yard just always looks so perfect. And I told my husband, I'm like, dude, there's nothing on her grass. Her flowers are always in bloom. They're always a pretty yellow. her bushes are always nice and trim. And a year later, almost, because we actually stopped to look, everything was fake. Everything was fake. Mr. Ishmael, everything was fake. The grass was fake, the bushes were fake, and the flowers were fake. But in my mind, what do you think I was doing unconsciously? I was comparing my yard to hers. I was like, my yard never looks like that. My gardener needs to do a better job. I need to find a new gardener. I don't like my gardener anymore, because I was comparing to what somebody else's lawn looked like, not realizing the lawns I was comparing to, some of them were all fake. We don't know what people have to do to maintain the other lawns, right? Like there's some lawns that are super, like when I tell you they got a checkerboard on their lawn, you better believe me, they got a checkerboard on their lawn, okay? You guys know what I'm talking about. You walk by, like, how do they get the lines like that? My gardener doesn't do that for me, right? So I'm looking and there's so many different houses, there's different layouts, there's palm trees, there's this tree, that tree. And I see this one house this one morning last week when we were walking, and this old couple, they were outside of their house and their lawn was immaculate. And it's real, okay? Their lawn is real. And the lady pulled out a knee mat and she put it down on the ground. She sat on it, put her knees on it, and she was tending to her garden by hand. And the old man, it was so cute. He comes up right behind her and he has a vacuum cleaner. Now this is outside in the front yard, okay? He's vacuuming up the leaves so they don't go on the side into the gutter. So let me ask you this. I don't know about you, but I might not be willing to vacuum my front yard. I might not be willing to get on my knees and like hand tend to all the flowers, you know what I mean? But some people are. And that's why their lawns look the way that they do. But we can't compare to other lawns if we don't know how they started or what they had to put into it to get it to how it is today. So I have a quick video for everyone. We're gonna watch this. It starts out kind of slow, but it's one of our favorite speakers, okay? But if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss it. So I want everybody to pay attention. And as soon as it's over, I'm gonna ask some questions. So make sure you pay attention and I'll be right back.
Nobody starts where they end. In between where you end and where you start, there is always a journey. You start out calm, and then things change. Life changes. Before you can stand out, you have to learn how to fit in. Things don't end up like they start. If you can survive the uncertainty, the questions, the confusion of not being where I used to be, but not being where I'm gonna be. The problem with most people is they define you by where they met you. And as long as you stay on the step they met you on, you're okay. But the moment you take a step forward, people have all kinds of issues with your transition. It's hard to be open when you've been closed all your life. You cannot have the purpose until you go through the process. It doesn't happen for anybody. It doesn't happen for senators or presidents, kings nor princes, preachers nor doctors nor lawyers. It didn't even happen for Jesus. And at the end of the process, we discovered the purpose. I have learned over the span of my life that things that come too fast are dangerous. I've learned not to despise the day of small beginnings. I've learned to be leery, if not wary, of people who promise to take you up fast. I have learned that it is the things that you discover along the way that make you able to stand the process of when you get there. You have to learn not to despise the day of small beginnings. Two things that will terminate your destiny is anger and doubt. You got to believe that it's yours, and you cannot allow all of the critics and problems and issues and naysayers to make you bitter instead of better, because if you become angry, you'll miss the spot. You cannot mediate with something that you do not associate with. You'll make changes. How you see yourself, how you handle yourself, how you manage your situations, you're going to have to make some changes. Doesn't mean you have low self-esteem, doesn't mean you have doubt, doesn't mean you have fear. But you got to be honest enough to know my legs can't leap that high. So I got to start right here. You wouldn't believe where I started from. God does things by a system. He has a system. The more you have in your life, the more systems you have to have in your life to accommodate those new dimensions in your life. You have a baby, you need a system. You have a house, you need a system. You get a job, you need a system. You own your own business, you need a system. The more God adds to your life, the more systems have to be in your life. Your God is systemic. He didn't create oak trees and palm trees and grass and roses and not have a system of reproduction in place. He said, I created it so that everything had the seed inside of itself. You will read that each thing had the seed inside of itself. What is the seed? The seed is the future. The future was inside of the tree. So every time you need grass, God didn't have to come down from heaven and say, let there be grass. Because God already had a system in place to accommodate the future. Let there be oak trees. God would be wore out, but he had a system. And each system required that you understand that there is a seed inside of the tree, a seed inside of the bush. The future is inside of you. Put your hand on your stomach right now. Put your hand on your belly and say, my future is inside of me. God has things in you you haven't tapped into yet. Whether you're 8 or 80, the reason you woke up this morning is because God isn't finished with you. He's got something else for you to do. You haven't sung your best song. You haven't preached your best sermon yet. You haven't thought your greatest thought. You haven't written down your greatest idea. You haven't dreamed your best dream. Maybe you haven't laughed your best laugh. You haven't had your greatest day yet. It's somewhere inside of you. There's all kind of stuff down inside of you waiting to come out. You're a miracle looking for a place to happen. You're a testimony looking for a place to be delivered. You have got all kinds of things locked up inside of you that are about to come forth for such a time as this. The time is right. The stage is set. The conditions are in order. And something awesome is about to happen in your life. Don't let anybody tell you you're too young. Don't let anybody tell you you're too old. Don't let anybody tell you you're finished. Every day you wake up in the morning, it's a sign the best is yet to come. And I've got something to tell you, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're young or old, whether you're 8 or 80. I know this is going to shock you, but I came to tell you you're pregnant. You should see the men looking at me. dreams and vision and ministry and purpose and hope and concepts and ideas is down inside of you. And when the season is right and the conditions are right and everything lines up in order, you're going to give birth to things that you have never dreamed of before. And I just came to tell you that you're coming into your season. You're coming into your time. You're about to come into your zone, baby. Things are about to click for you. Your alarm clock is about to go off. You're about to fly into orbit. Devil should have killed you when he had the chance, because it's too late now. Something in the back.
I dream with my eyes open. I never look forward to sleep. That's why I don't sleep, because I dream with my eyes open. I want to become the things that I see. And if you ain't taking advantage of all of your resources and relationships, and you sitting on your ass being a lazy bum, complaining about everything but still ain't doing shit, listen, watch me go get it. Let me.
All right, I told you. All right, so nobody starts where they end. So we're gonna go over a couple things in the video and then I'm gonna wrap it up, okay? So, that's where we cut the video. That's all. It was a pretty long video, but I can send you guys the link. You guys can have the link. But look, nobody starts where they end. There's a journey. We can all agree on that, yes? When they're building a house, they already have the blueprint in mind, but there's a journey to build a house. There's a journey to build the lawn, correct? You can't skip that part. It's unavoidable. He said something very important. Don't despise small beginnings. Everybody that is successful now once started with nothing or barely anything. Don't despise the small beginnings. A lot of time we're afraid to start because we don't want to be seen starting with nothing. You got to be thankful that you're not where you used to be, but know that this isn't your final destination. What did he say? The best is yet to come. You can't compare because that's unfair. Like I said, everybody has different starting points. Your purpose comes after the process. How many of us know we're going through a process right now? Especially this past year, we've been going through a process because your purpose is coming. Success isn't just what you get at the end. It's who you become. We've heard that quote how many times? When you're new and you first get started, right? You just get started. You have no clue what you're doing, but you're just super excited. Can we agree that you don't know the same thing an RD knows? We can agree on that. Now, when you become a CQ, what happens? You learn a little bit. You're still kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just doing what my mentor tells me to do, right? But you start having some success. You start gaining a little bit more confidence because you're like, okay, this is working. Then you hit ETL. What happens? Your confidence goes up. You start to walk a little different. You got a little swag in your walk now. Okay, you don't have a cane or anything, but you just got a little swag in your walk. But then you hit regional director. At that point, you know this works. You are understanding what you actually have. You start to move different. You start to talk to people different because you know what you have. He said, start where you are and have systems for everything. Now, how many of us know we have a system? We have a system. But what did he say? You need a system for everything. So how many people have a system for stuff? Put it in the chat. You have a system for your kids. You have a system for your family. You have a system for when you do meal prepping or you cook meals. Do you have a system for your business? Do you have a system for your money? Everything runs by systems. And when I heard him say that, I thought about it and I said, what do I have systems for and what do I need systems for? And how do I make those systems? Because everything is so much easier with systems. Think about it. Why do people organize stuff and buy those little containers and all that stuff? It's a system. Why does McDonald's make their burgers the way they do, even though we know they might not be the best? But I'll tell you what, you go here, you go to Japan, you go to anywhere in the world, they're the same because they have a system. This business is no different. You have a system, a duplicatable system that can be duplicated all throughout the world. Mr. Thomas on Saturday. Oh my God. I was looking for us. I was like, where are we on there, right? But think about it. All around the world, this man is global. How did it happen? A system. A system. Now, let me tell you something about the vision that you were given. You were given, now, let me ask you a question before I say that. Rewind. So, how many of you, when you think about your future self, you know exactly who that person is? You know exactly what they look like, exactly what they talk like, exactly what they dress like. You know everything. You know how that person lives lives. It could be anything, whatever it is you want, but you know what your future self looks like. How many of us know that? Either raise your hand or just put yes in the chat. Okay, perfect. Now let me tell you something about why you were given that. Even if it's any crazy ideas, any stuff that you're just like, oh my God, that would work. And then later you see it on Shark Tank and you're like, oh my God, I should have done it, right? You were given that vision because only you can carry it out. Only you can fulfill it. Nobody else can do it. Daryl Ransom, you were given a vision because only you can do it. Bill Howard, only you. Caroline Baker, you. Jason, Akiko, Belinda, Edmund, Julian, Dave, Ishmael, Mr. McGowan, Alez, Mary, Kenny, only you. Louisan, only you. Fetty Sherman, only you. Latasha, only you. Think about it. How many people don't understand what you're doing right now? And guess what? They don't have to. They don't have to understand because God didn't give them your vision. He gave you your vision. You're the only one that can carry it out. If you weren't able, let me tell you something right now, that would not have been placed in your head and in your heart. 100%. Imagine if Michelangelo never painted the church. Imagine if Steve Jobs never made the iPod. Imagine if Edison never carried out his vision of light. Everybody was living by candlelight and thought he was crazy for saying there's going to be light. There's going to be this thing. I'm going to put some wires in the thing and I'm going to make it happen. It's going to glow. People were like, you're on drugs. Bye. We're not your friend anymore. Okay. That's what happened. Imagine if the Wright brothers never carried out their vision of being able to fly. Imagine if Jeff Bezos never went for Amazon. All the packages y'all be getting, all those boxes would not be outside your door right now. Let me tell you that much, okay? Elon Musk, if he did not carry out his vision. We heard Mr. Cooper talk last week, when it was 2 weeks ago, when his friend literally sat him down when he was trying to do the SpaceX thing, sat him down and made him watch a compilation of rocket ships blowing up that he created for him to watch in order for him to not do it anymore. Colonel Sanders, we would not have KFC. You know how heartbreaking that would be? Mr. Thomas, the 4 co-founders. If those 4 men would not have gone for it and done what they did, none of us would be here right now. And I don't even want to think about where I'd be, but I know I wouldn't be here. People's lives are waiting to be changed, and you know them, or you just haven't met them yet. They're right there in your phone. There's people right now waiting for that text. There's people waiting for that phone call. They might not even know that it's this, because I didn't know, because sometimes the gifts that you get aren't really wrapped the way you want them to be wrapped. That doesn't mean it's not the gift that you didn't want. That just means it doesn't look like what you expected. But it doesn't have to, because it's exactly what you've been asking for. And if he's making you wait, then you best be prepared to receive what you asked for. But at the same time, you got to make sure you're doing your preparations and you're doing your prep work. You better make sure you are tending to that lawn, depending on how you want it. If you want to go all in, you better get on your knees, start tending to that garden. You better start vacuuming up your driveway. The best is yet to come. There's no need to compare to everyone. What did I say? Everybody has their own time. Everybody has their own unique gift. Everybody has something about them that makes them them. You have your own uniqueness, and it's time that you embrace it. We talk a lot about you have to be authentic. Mr. Lewis does an amazing job explaining it too. When we talk about, look, you got to be real with people. If you're not yourself, then you're going to have to keep up a facade like around them all the time. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, don't eat Brussels sprouts in front of people, okay? If you don't like ice cream, you don't got to pretend that you don't like ice cream just so that people like you. No. If I look, let me, okay, I don't like olives, okay? So anybody that likes olives on their pizza, I don't like olives. Mr. Thomas, don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. No, I don't like olives. If that stops you from liking me or being my friend, I don't want you as a friend. Do we understand that? Do we get where I'm going? See, Julian and I are friends because he doesn't like olives either. Okay, look. Think about Mr. Al Randolph. What's something that sets him apart? Mr. Thomas is going to do it in 3, 2, 1. See, I knew it. All right. That's something that's Julian, stop. That's something that sets him apart, right? Sharian, homegirl got some glasses. Her collection is off the chain. Mr. Thomas looks for them every single morning. He can't start the call without looking for her glasses. Miss Collins, energy in her smile. Okay, Mr. Payon, that hat. He was wearing a regular hat one day. I called him out. He went and changed it like right away. I was like, bro, where's the golf hat? Like you can't switch it up on me like that, okay? But that's something that makes them them. What makes you you? Miss Caroline Baker, homegirl's face is always done. I don't know how she does it, but she's always looking fabulous. What makes you you? There's billions of people on this planet. Billions and billions and billions. And to think that you have the one single fingerprint that nobody else on this earth has. Billions of people, and your fingerprint is unique. You know, when you make copies of things and there's 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, you are one of one. You're one of one. You are a limited freaking edition of whatever year you were born in. And it's time you start embracing it. Don't try to be anybody else. Mr. Terrelli last week said, I try to mimic Mr. Thomas. I was doing the good morning thing a long time ago, but when he gets on the call and he does it, it's like, that's our energy, right? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Like that is what we do. The best is yet to come, but it's not going to come if we're not prepared for it. Everything has its season. Your season is here. Your time is here. Last month we said April showers bring May flowers. Well, I'm ready for the flowers, baby, and they better be on my lawn or else I'm getting a new gardener. Okay. I don't know who else is getting a new gardener because of that, but no, just kidding. But understand, there's only one you. And if people don't like you for whatever reason, that's their problem, not yours. You embrace it. What did Shaquille Cooper say? I'd rather be weird than broke. Be yourself. Your time is here. The time is now. It's already May. We're past a whole year with the situation. How much longer are we going to wait to go out and build something? And you guys know when I'm talking on this call to everybody, I'm speaking to myself as well. I'm not exempt from anything. I'm talking to myself. Shaquille Cooper said something, and I'm going to end with this. The quote that he said hit me so much, it's burned into my memory. Okay? Write this down if you're taking notes. 5.0, come on, Sherry, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Keep me at 3.0, okay? Look, the longer it takes you to get to success, the shorter time you have to enjoy it. Write that down. That is money. The longer it takes you to get to success, the shorter time you have to enjoy it. Look, whatever you want your life to be like, and I just got the chills. So this is for somebody, I don't know who's receiving this, but Mrs. Driscoll, I can feel you too. Let me just tell you that. If you know what you want your life to look like, because I asked this question earlier, what is the best version of you look like? What do they act like? What do they talk like? What do they think like? How do they walk? How do they dress? You know all of that. And it's not that far off from where you're at right now. It's a couple of small things that you can change and it'll get you there. If you want to buy or build your parents a home, the longer it takes you to reach success, the shorter time they have to enjoy it. If you want to take your grandparents on a vacation, the longer time it takes you to get to success, the shorter time they have to enjoy it. If you want to live the life of complete freedom, like Mr. Thomas does, like Mrs. Driscoll does, like Mr. Nelson does, if we want to live that life, the longer it takes us to get to that success here, the shorter time we have to enjoy it. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather bust my butt for 2, 3 to 5 years and then live the rest of my life however I want to, whenever I want to, with my husband and my family. And of course, all of you guys, because we're all going to be traveling the world. But you guys have to understand that one quote shifted my mind. So I don't know who needed to hear it. I wasn't even going to go there, but there it is. The longer it takes you to achieve success, the shorter time you have to enjoy it. If you know you got to get it done, what it takes people different times to get to different positions and places, because we know everybody has their own season, okay? We know the popcorn analogy. If you keep stopping the microwave, it's not going to cook. You got to let that microwave run. Don't look at it. Just cook it, cook it, cook it, cook it. But if we're not cooking it, and if we keep starting and stopping, why is Sam Foster having so much success right now? Because he decided he's going to stop. He's going to stop pushing pause on the freaking microwave. Stop pushing pause on your life. We're already a year past this thing. I thought about it and I was like, what have I done this past year? I mean, granted, a lot of growth and I'm like so thankful, but you got to understand there's a lot of people that have just paused their life right now. You can't be one of them. You cannot be one of them. There's people waiting right now to hear from you. They don't even know you yet. There's people that might already know you. They're waiting to hear your voice. They're waiting to hear you just say something to them that's going to flip a switch for them and be able to change their life. Think about how thankful you are right now to the person that introduced you to this business. Don't you think they were scared to reach out to you? Don't you think they were thinking, oh, they're going to judge me? Don't you think that they had to build up that courage enough to come to you, to think enough of you to show you this business? I'm so thankful to my friend. I randomly text him still and I'm like, I just want to thank you. And he'll be like, for what? And I'm like, for changing my life. The best is yet to come. And remember, if he's making you wait, you better be prepared to receive exactly what you asked for. But don't forget to do the preparation. Okay? So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And Mr. Thomas, I'm going to pass it back to you.